Hello, everybody. Nice to see you all today.
Perfect.
Hey,
Hi.
Rafael. I'm really happy to host this workshop every week. With Marcos, we are the founders of Automate RevOps. We have the pleasure to share our knowledge and many experiences that we have building clay workflows, helping our clients to build their own. Um, and yeah, so today we're going to cover a really specific topic for people that haven't used Clay before, or they are just starting to use Clay. That is how to build the first list of leads using Clay. So we have a really special challenge today. I'm going to share a demo for you of how we would solve that issue, that challenge. And yeah, so happy to host you again. Like I told you, Marcos, how are you doing today? You're mute, bro.
Oops, sorry. Hey, David. Hi, everyone. This is Marcos, also from the Automate RevOps team. I'm so happy to have you today. And it's going to be a great session, David, right?
Yeah, for sure. So, um, one thing that we usually notice is that from our audience, we have people that are using Clay for a long time and want to discover new tricks, new ways to solve things. But also we have people that haven't used Clay before. So if you can leave in a chat what's your expertise using Clay, if you are just a beginner or if you are an expert or if you are intermediate, I would love to know that so um, we can customize this workshop for your needs as well. Any question that you have, just drop it in the chat. We're going to review it and going to chat about how you can solve that issue. So today we are going to talk about really specific things. But before doing uh, talking about this list building process, let me introduce ourselves. With Marcos, we are the founders of Automate RevOps. In our company, we help teams and people to be able to learn how to use Clay, develop their own Clay workflows, and by doing that, they unlock a new way of go to market moves, but also they speed up the process. They have these go to market processes as well. They decrease the time that they are using right now for manual prospecting tasks. So by using Clay, you will be able to have a lot of benefits. And with Marcos, we focus on helping you understand how Clay can be beneficial for your company, for your needs. Even if you want to upskill yourself to get another job, also learning how to use Clay is really, really powerful for that. So in our experience, we have helped clients to achieve millions of revenue in their workflows. We have helped more than 4,000 community leaders that we have in our community, in Slack, in our newsletter, in these workshops. So we have host this workshop for more than 6 months now. We have been helping a lot of people from different industry, different size of companies, different locations. So we're really happy to be able to share our knowledge with you today. And today we're going to talk about how to make your first list of leads inside Clay and why Clay is so useful for that. So let me know in the chat where are you logging into as well? I'm seeing that most of you are beginners or not starting to use Clay, so that's great. We're gonna talk about how you can start using Clay. And yeah, create your own first list of leads. So the promise for you is that we're gonna build this workflow together. We're gonna share that workflow with you after the call, so you can use the same template if you are targeting the same challenge. Of course, every workshop that we host face a different challenge. So today we have a really specific challenge, but the same knowledge can be applied to other cases or industries. So let me know how many of you have been building lists of leads manually and getting exhausted of it. I mean, we have been there with Marcos before. We had a lead generation agency before. In the beginning, we were building our list manually using different tools like LinkedIn, Apollo. And when we have the list of leads, then we need to qualify them. And in some cases, you can trust the filters of those tools, but in other cases, you need to manually check that they are qualifying correctly companies and leads. And then we struggled back then to manage all the databases, the CSVs, into to be able to send those leads into a sequence tool or to validate the emails. So there are many tasks that require those manual actions that today with Clay you can solve it and you can automate it in the same workflow and you can check the quality of it, you can improve it, you can fine tune it after replying it. So that's the amazing benefits that you can get from Clay. All right, so the what Clay can bring back to you is a smarter way of prospecting. So today you have access to AI, you have access to automation tools, no code automation tools like Clay. You have access to many, many databases like Prospeo, like Datagma, like we can talk about LinkedIn databases, we can talk about Apollo databases, ZoomInfo databases. So there are many databases that are already built, but also there are certain tools that help you scrape databases. And if you can connect all that together, you are able to create a huge list of leads that probably will have more coverage than ever before in the time. So what Clay do is actually solve the issues that probably if you're doing it manually, you will be facing. That is that the SDR team is burning 28 hours per week on list building. So that would be $36,000 in wasted salary that you can recover. Meanwhile, your competitors are reaching more audience. They will be speeding up the process and they are leaving you behind. So that's why today every company needs to invest into this automation and AI implementation tools to be able to increase the coverage, but also increase the quality and being able to gather all those leads and process them in a system that you can control over the quality. And then the time that you can recover from your team, spend it in actual task that generates value to your leads. So we're gonna discuss that today as well. What we see in among many of our clients is that their team are spending around 50 to 70% of the time on those tasks that are manual, like list building, creating copy, sending messages, trying to being able to qualify all leads with the same standard, but not being able to do that because today I might be feeling good, but tomorrow, as a human being, I can be facing any issue, and the quality of my process, my manual process, can decrease the amount of leads that you can process, can decrease the quality of the list building task. So all those issues that you might face Clay can start solving it for you. And the way that we see it is that if you have, let's say, 100% of your time of your team or yourself, if you are doing that manual process, and spending 80% of those into data intensive work, which means tasks that help you to list, to build lists, to be able to qualify those leads of leads and companies, to be able to find those contact data, to validate those contact data, to create copy for each lead, to send those leads into a sequence message, to create follow-ups or to send those follow-ups messages manually, will take you between 50 to 70, 80% of your time. And if you can decrease that time from 80% to 20%, you will be able to increase the amount of time that you can start generating more leads with these high value interactions tasks that are actually making the follow-ups that your leads deserve, high quality follow-ups, creating high quality content for your leads to nurture your leads, being able to have real conversation with your leads, being able to call your leads at this exact moment that they need your support, being able to be with them. So when they are ready to buy, they will think about your brand and move forward with your solutions. So let me tell you the same with other words. When you are automating 80% of that work that generate 0% of the revenue, your team can focus on the 20% that generates 400 more results for you. So that will be kind of the impact that you can get by starting to automate your go-to-market motions. And with Clay, right now, every information that you have online, you will probably be able to scrape it, to manage it, to qualify it, and to create your own motions. So why Clay? What is Clay actually? If you haven't tried Clay before, Clay is a revenue operation orchestrator. So it's a platform that is connected with more than 100 data providers, external data providers, LLM models, and it has an UI that's similar to spreadsheets. So in that table, you will be able to manage the information, to create formulas, and to be able to process and see the whole process of that automation and control it and improve it. In other ways, Clay can help you automate all the preparatory work before reaching out to those leads, like creating copies, qualifying leads, driving leads to different sequences. So you can create your own workflow, and in Clay, you are able to drive leads to different processes. So Clay has the possibility to, you can do 4 core actions in Clay. One is sourcing. In that sourcing part, you can connect Clay with different data providers. For instance, Clay has a native integration with LinkedIn that you can use to find companies, to find leads, to find job posts. Clay has also the possibility to be integrated with Apollo to get the leads that you have from Apollo into Clay. Also, you can integrate other scripting tools like Apify. We're going to see an example of that today as well. And many others like your CRM, a CSV file, or whatever database that you have, you can connect it into Clay. And then inside Clay, you are able to enrich, which means that you can connect with another external tool to get more information about that record. And that record can be a company, a lead, a trigger, to be able to use that information to qualify or to create copy or just to get more recent information from that company or lead.
Just one comment, David, for the audience. A ground rule that we always set is that there are no silly questions, especially in this type of sessions that are for Clay basics, and most of you are beginners. Feel free to ask any type of question. There are no silly questions. Probably Apify, I want to give some context because you just mentioned Apify, and probably many of you don't know. It's a platform that aggregates multiple different scraping programs for different use cases. So we're going to show you one specific scraping program that we use in Apify and integrate into a Clay table in order to automate the population of records on a table.
That's right. So as Marco said, any question that you have, just leave it in the chat. We're going to cover that for sure. And going back into the 4 core actions that you can do on Clay, after enriching the data, you can get any data that you don't have from the sourcing and connect the data into the table. You can process those records using AI and using formulas. So let's say you want to create a really personalized message for a lead. Then in Clay, you are able to grab all the information that you have from LinkedIn of that lead, for instance, like their profile, their experience, their education. But you can even aggregate their LinkedIn posts. You can even aggregate a web research of their experience, or if they have any other personal information or their company's website information, and then grab all that data and feed it into an AI, an LLM model that can transform that data into a really specific message for that lead. It can use your pain points, it can use any lead magnet that you have to create messages, and it can be a really powerful process. As well, after creating the whole process, you will be able to integrate that database into your CRM, into a LinkedIn messages sequencer tool, a cold email sequencer tool, or any other database that you want to send that data to. It can be also like an alert to your reps or many other tasks. So that's the final part of any workflow. So the challenge that we're gonna solve today, we're gonna build a table in Clay so you can understand how it works and why you should use Clay to be able to solve those challenges. Is creating a list of qualified leads of IT service managed providers in the US. So if you want to do it manually, you need to find the S&P's businesses, you need to enrich company data, you need to qualify the company, find the CDO. Let's say we want to sell them any type of solution for the CDO of those type of companies, and send those leads into a campaign. So double clicking on that, the first action, that is find US S&Ps that are looking to growth, because we want to sell them something that is related to being able to have more, to manage more clients, for instance. If you don't want to do it outside Clay, you can research on LinkedIn for the companies. You can search on other platforms like Clutch. Sorry, one second. I had to close my window. You want to have the database of their company names and descriptions that you can translate it manually into a spreadsheet, for instance, and you can manually verify that all those companies are still active. So that will be the first task here. The problem that you're gonna face if you do it manually is that LinkedIn has limits for research and filtering. You can waste a lot of time into doing that, and there's no way to export data across platform really easily. And that's why Clay is gonna solve that for you. So let's start with trying to understand where you can find those S&Ps. So if I would like to find those S&Ps, what I would do in the beginning is to find databases of companies that are S&Ps that are really qualified companies. And if I think it through, probably all those companies that are, let's say, on Clutch, which is a database of providers, they might be interested into growing because this platform allows them to access to more leads. So if I go to Clutch and then I go to IT services, and find S&Ps, I can have a list of 21,000 companies that I can even check their description of what they're offering. I can check even the size of the minimum project in terms of budget. I can know how they charge, how much they charge per hour, where they are located. I can know the reviews they have. So let's say I want to start with this list. If I want to get this list into Clay, one way would be to do it manually. It would take a lot of time. The other way would be to use this solution that's called Apify that Marcos were just mentioning about. Apify is a scraping solution. So Apify helps you to scrape many websites. It can be databases, it can be platforms like Google for Jobs, it can be platforms like LinkedIn, it can be, in this case, Clutch. So we found this particular actor, this a specific program that helps us to research and scrape clutch databases. So in this case, what I need to do is find it in the Apify store. If I go here in the Apify store, I can go into the search bar and type clutch, for instance. There are different models that you can pay for the actions. What we want to do is scrape just one, so I don't want to subscribe to any solution yet. So if I select pricing models, I can go to pay per usage and find, sorry, paid per result, and find the same actor that I was showing you before. So in this actor, what you need to do is just grab the URL of this site. In this case, it has already the search. And then you can paste it in the URL to scrape. You can set how many pages you want to scrape. Let's set up to 2 because we just want to use it as an example here. And let's go into these three buttons. Let's create a task. Let's name it S&P scraping. Click on continue. And now let's start this task. So this action will start executing a scraping solution that's gonna go into Clutch and get it back to me, a list of all the companies that you have been seeing in here. Since it's set up to run for the only 2 pages, probably it's gonna get like 200 results or something like that. It can take certain seconds, up to a minute, I would say, to start running, and you're gonna see here the output. Now you are seeing the output here. You can see it in like a table view, or you can see it in a JSON view. So then you can understand which is the starting data set here that we can use for this use case. So we know the hourly rate, we know how many reviews they have, the rating, we have the clutch URL, and in some cases we have the website, in some cases we don't. So let's find another one that we have the website. In this case, we have the website. And this is really useful because we can find those SMPs and use this database to further enrich it and qualify. So if we need to send that data into Clay, you'll need to go into Clay, click on New Workbook, and you're gonna create a new table inside this workbook. If you click on all sources, that you can select many sources to start the table, like find people, find companies, find jobs. That is natively integrated into LinkedIn, as I told you. But you can also use the CSV or your CRM to be able to get that data into Clay. In this case, let's use Apify. So I can import data from Apify.
Yeah, when you finish this process, I have a question that is worth to go over right now.
Sorry, you have a question?
No, finish the explanation of this process, and then we can.
All right. So in order to send the data from Apify to Clay, you need to connect your Apify account into Clay. And it's really easy. First of all, you need to create an Apify account. You can have an Apify account for free, and it will give you 5 credits to use per month. Or you can subscribe to Apify, and whatever option is okay. You can go then to settings, go to API and integrations, and grab the personal API key here. And then in Clay, if you want to create a new account, to connect your new account, you need to go to manage account, add connection, paste the API key here, and just save and run. And then you will be able to use your API key here to get the data that you have from Apify to Clay. So then you need to select the actor. In this case, the actor name is Clutch. Let's review it again. I think it's Clutch Search Result Scraper. Clutch Search Companies. I think this is the one. We need to find the precise. No, this is not the one. Let's look it again. Company scraper. Maybe this one. No,
Yes, it was that one.
it was that one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is the one. This is the task that we saved previously, so that's why we need to find it, and then we need to click on submit. We have been using Apify for a long time, so it is really. I mean, we have a lot of actors there, so it's really easy to set up a different actor for in a mistake, you know. So that's why it's really important to name the precise action like you want to get. Like in this case, were XMP scraping. So now you have
So consider
all those
that this
into
is
that database.
sorry, I was going to say that consider that this is a data source that you can schedule to run every day. So it's not a manual process that you go to a fixed static database as Apollo or Sage Navigator, and you do the manual work of uploading your list here. And then after a while, it doesn't get updated with the new records. But this is a type of list building that is sort of automated, and it runs on a schedule, and you can schedule it to run on Apify, and also you can schedule it to run on Clay as well.
Yeah, as Marco was saying here, you can schedule the actor to run daily, weekly, monthly, whatever that you want to scrape new companies in this case, and you can send it into this table, and Clay will upload it, the data once per day. So then every new company that subscribes to Clutch, you will be having it in here. So that will be great for you guys. So here's the data set that you get from that scraping solution that you can start using in Clay. So if I want to map, let's say, website, I can create a column here with a website. I want to use also the name. Let's use the hourly rate. Let's use the Clutch profile URL, the description as well. We can have the employee count. We also can have the type of services. If we click on take action on list, we can click on this button that says create column with items separated by commas. So it's going to create for each of the items that you saw in there. We can have as well the minimum project size. So now you can visualize all the information that you have from Clutch in the same table. Okay? So let's go to the second action that we need to do today. That is enriching company to get data to qualify. So what we need is if that company, if we want to qualify the company, we can qualify by size, growth stage, and marketing investment. So let's say we want to create our own qualification process for these companies. Using the information that we have here, we can create a new column in here to use a formula. And you're gonna see a model like this one is loading, but in this box that is gonna appear here, you can describe what you want to do, and the AI will transform that and create a formula in a column that will process the data for you. It's not like it will create an AI query for each row, but it will gonna create a general formula that's gonna be free in Clay. You don't need to waste any credits, you don't need to pay anything extra to run this formula. So in this case, let's say output true only if the following conditions are met. And you can describe it like first condition, employee count. Let's say I want an employee count that is over 50. Have a number that is over 50. I can also describe a qualification depending on the minimum project size. It can be a really good indicator for you that the company is making more money or not. It might be an indicator or not, but let's use it in this case for minimum project size is over $10,000. And you can also create a formula to check for precise keywords in the description. So let's say that I want to target companies that in the description have any indicator that they are offering cybersecurity services. Since the formula is a fixed way to analyze that, I will have to be really precise on the keywords that I want to use to find those indicators. But if there is a possibility that those keywords return me false negatives or false positives, like if there is a company that's offering IT management services but not cybersecurity, but they're offering two cybersecurity companies, then you will find a false positive. Or if you find a company that is offering cybersecurity services, but they are not naming it cybersecurity, but it's a different keyword, probably you won't find those companies. So in those cases, let's keep it simple with those two conditions. You can click on generate formula, and you're gonna see here that the output that you will get from this formula that were created by using AI. So in this case, employee count have a number that is over 50, and minimum project size is over 10,000. So this case, employee count is over 50, but minimum project size is not over 10,000. In this case, we have a company that is qualified because they have both conditions is true. So we can just click on output is correct and save formula. And you're gonna have here a new checkbox with all those companies that are already qualified, okay? So now you can click on that column and create a filter on this column, and you can select that column is checked, I mean it's true. So you can only visualize now all the companies that are qualified for these conditions. All right. So now let's say we want to get more information about those companies, like which type of services they are providing. We don't have the description for all of them. Let's say we want to get also if the LinkedIn URL of that company, because we want to find the employees of those companies. So in those cases, you can go into add enrichment. And now let's find an enrichment to, first of all, we are calling it use AI. The use AI column has three different use cases. One is processing the data that you already have in that database. The other one is using a web research scraper to get the information that is in the web inside the table for you, and process that data also inside the table and return it to you in the format that you would like. And the third case is using AI to generate images from the data that you have in here. So what we want to do here is, first of all, find the websites of all the companies that we don't have the website. And also find and create a description of the company for the ones that we don't have a description. So then we can use that information to further qualify those companies. So what we're gonna do here is create here the description of the task that we're gonna give it to AI to be able to return me that data. So I would say something like, look up for, and I can put slash and map the precise column that has the name of that company. Look up for the company called online and find their precise website, and also create me a description of the type of services they provide. So I can click on generate, and the AI will create for me a better prompt. That will be a faster way to create the instructions for the AI to research that data for me. So here we have.
This is something really relatively new in the platform. Back in the day, when we started using it, we had to craft the prompts ourselves. And now there are more and more AI layers on the UI of the platform. So that makes it less technical and more user-friendly for all of us to use and operate, as long as we have the computational thinking mindset and that we have a clear understanding of what we want AI to process or do for us. Then we can leverage these great solutions.
That's true. So you're gonna see that Clay changes over time. They release new features every week, so that's great. But also you need to be able to understand how this new function works. So that's why you need to be in tune with their new releases. In this case, this solution is really useful because it can speed up the process of creating the prompt for you, and then you can just review the prompt if there is any mistakes or you can improve it. So in this case, you're an AI-powered web research and scraper. The user wants you to look up for a specific company online, identify its precise official website, and create a concise description of the type of services the company provides. So we have the name, and also here we have the instructions, perform web research, and then we have different actions here that I recommend you to always assess before implement this at scale. Since this is a quick demo, I'm gonna trust AI, I'm gonna trust Clay in this case. But you can make any changes here in the prompt. It is written in common words so you can understand it. And here you're gonna see in the top of it the use cases that I told you, the web research use case, the image generation, and the create or modify content that you already have on the table. But also you can select here the precise LLM model to run this task. So there are models that are more expensive than others. They are more useful for other use cases. And you can even create a task using your own integrations with OpenAI or with Claude. So in this case, I can change it to, for instance, GPT-4o, and then here select my own API key from GPT. So it will be way cheaper than using credits. Here in the fields, I can set the format of the output that you want to get. So in this case, it's website is URL actually, and description. And in here, in the last part of the table of this setup, you're gonna see this only run if. That is also a condition that I can set up with my own words to have a conditional run for this precise enrichment only if the criteria are met. So in this case, let's look for the formula that we created. That is over 50 employees and $10,000 as minimal budget is true. So I generate the formula. It's going to create for me here the formula. I can click on output is correct and then save and run it for these 26 rows. So now the AI will gonna research the web, it's gonna grab that information, and it's gonna put the information here in the table for me. While we wait, we can check out the questions that we have, Mark.
I wanted to mention that this is an example of a specific company or like specific requirement for building a list. So that's the reason why we scraped Clutch. But you always have to start by thinking what is the most suitable database for the industry where your ICP is in. For example, if you're targeting e-commerce, then you should leverage store leads, as Julie was suggesting in the chat to Boyan. So if your ICP is active on LinkedIn, then it's a no-brainer to go to LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which is the primary source of data, is the data source that is more updated for the records of the LinkedIn active users compared to Apollo and Clay that take the data from LinkedIn, and there's always a lag. So when you use the same records from Clay or Apollo, they might be outdated, especially in this super dynamic market where everybody is changing roles all the time. So that's like the strategic step before diving into Clay, understanding what are the static databases that you should use and what are the specific platforms where you could pick up warmer leads, like the Clutch example that we are using, or I don't know what other example we can bring to the table. For example, companies that are hiring for like a specific role that is related to the service or the product that you offer, and that the fact that the companies are hiring to this role in a specific geography determines a higher intent of purchasing your solution. So of course, for mapping out your total addressable market, which is like a foundational task, we would recommend you to leverage the larger databases where you could access all of the available target companies. So you understand how big is your TAM, and if it's worth it to leverage automation, and what are the channels where we should be focusing on for the outreach, if it's email or if it's LinkedIn or if it's cold calling or if it's Facebook or whatever. So yeah, just a little bit of
That's true.
into yeah.
Yeah, and that's why we always try to customize our service to our clients to try to understand where their leads are and what is the best use cases and databases to scrape. Let's continue with this case and then continue with more questions later. So after enriching the company with the description, let's say we want to also, we wanted to find if they're using, if they offer any type of cybersecurity in their in the services that they can provide. So in this case, I can use AI as well to read. I have here the description from Clutch and the description that this AI created for me, and determine if the company offers any cyber security services. So here we're gonna see another use case of AI that will also research. In this case, it can research the web, or it can be just reading the information that you have in there, and create for you a checkbox to know if the company has a precise service or not. So if you want to do it manually, you'll need to read the description and to find those companies. In this case, you can use AI to leverage the possibilities of finding that evidence for you. So let's run this description, and after having this enrichment in place, what you can do is, let's say we have it here, okay, cybersecurity, yes, let's create a column here. So then you can filter them out to the ones that are offering cybersecurity. Let's say there are 5 companies. Remember that we just scraped 200 companies of a list of 20,000 companies from Clutch. Of course, and this is really specific search, but you can cover a lot more companies if you add to this search in Clutch, let's say LinkedIn or any other provider. What you can do next to find the actual decision maker, in this case, let's find for the VP of Sales, CMO, Head of Marketing, Chief Revenue Officer, is use this action here on Clay that is look for find people at these companies, and you're gonna see here a filter that you can select the same table that we just created, the view that we just had, and we can select the website. I think this is the one website that we get from the Claygen. And after selecting that, you are able to see how many people they are working for those companies. Probably there's something off because Microsoft shouldn't be there. Let's find website. I think that would be better. Okay. With some, okay, that's not also. Let's check which is, I think this is the one. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, we have 1,000 leads that work for those companies in any role. But now let's add the roles that we want to get. So let's look for job title. We can here type Chief Marketing Officer, CMO, marketing. We're gonna find VP of Marketing, VP of Marketing, Chief Revenue Officer, VP of Sales. Let's say I want to also add that. And now, okay, there are really few people here. Let's add our roles.
Yeah, maybe use the keywords, bro, instead of
Just
the
marketing, sales.
exact.
Okay, didn't take it. Try it again, create marketing, sales. Okay, so now we have 45 leads. You might need to review the job titles as well, but as fast as you can see it here, you can have a list really easily. If you can click on continue, import to a new table, you're gonna have a new table with all those leads, records with their LinkedIn URL, and you can use that data to, let's click on, always remember, every time you create a new table, to turn off the table until you are ready to scale that operation, that automation. Because if you don't turn it off, you might add another row into that table, and that will trigger any enrichment column that you already set up in there, and it's gonna waste credits for you if you're not sure about the result that you want to get. So turn it off until you're ready to and satisfied with the results, and then you can go into the settings button here. If you want to turn it off or turn on, you just click here on turn on and turn off button.
That's an advice for Brendan, that he was telling us that he burned a bunch of credits. We've all been there. There is, it's a common mistake, and especially that the tables start by default with this specific setting turned on. So you always have to turn it off to have the table turned off. So then you work, you validate manually, then you validate with a small scale. And then once you have enough confidence on your workflow, you turn on the table. And yeah, always test turning on the table with a filter view with a small amount of records. And then when you see that it's flowing right, you take out the filter and run it for the whole list of records.
For Brenda that was asking where you should, when you can turn off or turn on the table, You can click on settings here and go into run settings. And here you have the auto update function that if you have turned on, every new row that you create in this table, it will run any enrichment column that you have set it up. So, and here you have the auto dedup function as well, that if you can select any column, it will delete all the records that have the same value in that column. So that's also useful. Now let's find the contact data of those leads. You can go to add enrichment and let's find work email. And you want to find different options here. If you're targeting enterprise companies, this function will order the providers of different enrichment solutions to prioritize the one that have more coverage for those enterprise companies. And this one is kind of a general work email function that if you click on that, you're gonna see after clicking on full configuration, all different providers that Clay has an integration to find the contact data of those leads. What we suggest you to use is Prospeo. Prospeo has a great coverage. Subscribe to Prospeo or the Tagma outside Clay and then connect your API key will be a lot way cheaper than using your credits. And then as a fallback, you can use ICP as well to connect your own API key. As a fallback, the solution that it is cheaper and has better coverage than the others is full enrich. So if you're using your own credits, I would suggest you to use full enrich. And then here you can select also the validation tool. We use rebounds, but also zero bounce is useful. Find email as well, never bounce. So you can select your own to validate the emails. And if you click here on run for 10 rows, you're gonna see here that the waterfall function is being created with different data providers appearing and looking for the email of that lead. If that provider doesn't run, it will look for the second provider. Like you see here, this provider didn't find it, the email. So it ran the second provider and so on. So you're going to increase the coverage of finding those emails and also decrease the cost of finding those emails. Okay, I don't have more credits here, so I have to change it to my own. If you want to change to click credits, you just need to select here the account. Let's run it again. Okay.
You said don't run. There you go.
Okay. Now that we have the emails of those people, if we want to send them to a campaign, you can click on add enrichment.
What is the final coverage of the list? Out of the 10, how many emails did we get?
It's running.
Still running.
It's running. Yeah.
This is really powerful if you compare it to any centralized data provider as Zoom Info, which is the market leader still. Here you can even leverage Zoom Info data through connecting the API. So you not only have data from one provider, but for all of them together. So the coverage of the email finding or phone number finding, or even for any data point that you want to get for each of either your target accounts or leads. For example, the revenue, annual revenue data point, it's super relevant and it's not always so easy to find. So you might want to use the waterfall enrichment technique to stack different providers or scraping techniques or AI, and multiple different techniques to get the data.
Yeah, so that's one of the main benefits of using this waterfall. Here we're gonna see that for those people of full enrich didn't find the email as well. So for 10 people, we have 4 emails. This might differ from ICP to ICP depending on the location, on the company, It might be the case that it found the email, but it's not validated. Let me find you. Here we have the validation check. So there are some cases that you find the email, but if it's not validated, that means that the email is tested, if it bounces, if you send it an email or not. And we want to send only to validated email to maintain the deliverability of your mailboxes. So after having the list of validated emails, you can click on create enrichment, find add lead to campaign in Smartlead. Here you can connect your own API keys from Smartlead. You can select whatever campaign that you want to send, let's say this one. And then you need to map only the email address. If you have all the copies set up in the campaign, you can use the copies template that you have in that campaign, or you can go here to custom fields and create your own copy in Clay using AI and map the precise personalized copy for each lead here. So that's how you can set up the full workflow to be able to send emails to those leads. So as a takeaway of today, after doing this, you will be able to save at least 25 hours per week on manual prospecting. You will be able to have 4x more qualified leads on your pipeline, and you will be able to position yourself as the automation leader in your market. So there are two paths moving forward. One is keep doing what you're doing manually and keep being fall behind, or you can start mastering Clay. So you can start seeing these benefits. If you are ready to move your pipeline faster, you can book a call with us. We're happy to help you understand what is your current status, how you can improve your current workflows, how you can personalize emails, how you can set up this infrastructure and start using Clay for your own company, or upskill yourself to be able to achieve any of those roles. So let me know if you have any questions so far. I'm gonna drop as well the link in the chat if you want to book a meeting with us. All right. Questions?
We are almost on time, but we can spend a few more minutes for questions. Feel free to ask. We have some actually in the chat. Boyan, in my workflow, it all starts by assessing the company, which is where the first part of the manual work starts. For example, I'm targeting e-commerce web shops. In all of the publicly accessible databases, there are a bunch of agencies that cater to e-commerce web shops. Those are bad targets, but until I manually go and check them, I wouldn't know if they are a good target or not. Is there a way to automate this part with Clay?
Yeah, I mean, like I was reading Julie answer as well. StoreLead has a database of all the e-commerce companies. What you can do is create a table based on the precise ICP that can be filtered down by industry, by location, type of products. And then with that database, you can use Clay to scrape different databases, like their own website, or even their LinkedIn posts or any information that indicates that they are more qualified for you. Mark, do you have any other idea for Boyan?
No, I think that we covered this topic when we explained the filtering and the use of AI. But maybe we have another question. Adriana Kampfer, I have a basic question about enrich people and enrich data options in Clay versus using AI to get some data. For example, if I want to get the content from someone's LinkedIn profile, would you use one versus the other?
Okay, so to get LinkedIn posts, or you mean their profile information?
Just their profile information. I mean, you can do it as part of the AI request to gather that, to get that information and then do something on top of it. Or you can do enrich person, pull in the content from their LinkedIn post, and then separately run AI on it. And I just don't know if there's a difference.
Yeah, you might find some challenges when you are asking the client to scrape LinkedIn. In some cases, it won't be able to scrape it because their profiles are closed. So for those cases, you'll need to enrich it first and then use that data to process it. The other challenge that you might face is that if you have the client connected to your own GPT account, let's say, or OpenAI account to run it cheaper, that's great. But if you're using your credit credits to run the client, it can be more expensive. I mean, to run the enrichment and then the AI to qualify than using the client at once, you know. So depends on what you currently want to achieve, but there are other ways as well. What we suggest to decrease the cost of this type of getting the information and transforming the information in what you need is using, if the information is available online, you can use the client to just get the information for you with the cheapest model possible, like GPT-4o Mini or Nano, for instance, and then use another AI column to process that data, but not with the use case of client, which is more expensive than the processing data column.
Sorry to interrupt, but she didn't ask what was the cheapest, but how to get the LinkedIn profile information. So maybe we
No, I am concerned about the cost too, both things, right? Because I just want to make sure that I, in the most cost-effective way, am able to get all of the content from a LinkedIn profile and then run some AI to further qualify people.
For the LinkedIn profile information, we normally use the Prospio enrichment. Is that right, David? Can you validate?
Yeah.
And also for scraping the latest posts, we use an Apify actor that is great because it doesn't use your session cookies. So then you don't put your account at risk and you can scrape at scale, you know. So then you have
and recent posts because client integration don't bring you back all the data.
That's excellent.
Yeah, so then we know if they are actively posting, and if they are, then we can craft some personalized message referring to the post. So that's a common best practice. But yeah.
Great. Thank you.
If you'd like to discuss it further, you can book a meeting with us, Adriana, at any cost, and we can just take a look at what you're doing and help you improve it.
Fantastic. Thank you.
All right.
I think there are any other questions? No, we are done for today. Hope to see you next week. We are going to send you a feedback request by email and also the recordings. So yeah, hope to see you in the Slack community as well. Feel free to ask your questions in the Slack, and have a great week. Cheers.
See you.
Thank you, guys.